Hey everyone, it's Hydro Pump here. Today I got a Top Cut tournament deck analysis from Olympus Cards and Games. Tournament was this past weekend, so and they're based out of Atlanta in Georgia. So just follow them on Facebook, and you can see here they have like their tournaments and stuff they do. They have Time Wizard tournaments at 6 o'clock. So yeah, if you want to go check them out, if you're close to Atlanta, just follow them. And they did a PlayStation 5 tournament, uh, and so that was a pretty good prize for first place. And it was only $25 entry. And they had so yeah, they posted their top 8 deck lists, which is very nice of them. Uh, we're just gonna go over the list real quick. But yeah, so here we have Sean here with eighth place, or he made top 8, and it looks like he is on Diva Hero. This has been getting really, it was really popular. It was considered like one of the best decks beginning of last year, and then it kind of fell off. But it's been seeing a lot more play recently, so it's kind of interesting. It come back into the format, and it's been doing pretty well. Just looking at his list, some interesting things to know. Oh yeah, and again, the tournament was only 24 players, so and this is top 8 cut. Uh, so yeah, small tournament. It's actually pretty nice. PlayStation 5 and only 24. You only have to beat 23 other people to win a PlayStation 5. So if they're running more of these tournaments in the future, I think it'll probably be worth going out for. I was actually considering going to this tournament, but I had something come up, so I couldn't make it. But yeah, again, just go out to these tournaments, and I'm sure they'd appreciate it, get a larger turnout. But so yeah, just going over the list again. He's on 3 Kai's and 3 Evil Guy, which I think is interesting. I think 3 Kai's is really underrated in Edison format. Like, I see a lot of lists that's play 2. I think that card's just crazy in a lot of like decks that normally play Kai's. I think bumping up to 3 should be like it's just such a devastating card. Like say you go first and you summon your guy and your opponent sets a monster. You Kai's it, the game's probably over. Um, or Kai's mid game. It's the card's always like really crazy. Like early game, mid game, late game, it's just you always want to see Kai's. So if you have a way to get Kai's on the field, then I think running 3 might be pretty good. So in 3, Evil Guy. Haven't really seen any list play 3 of this guy. Um, he's just I guess really solid. It helps with the 3 Kaias, so and he's a hero, so works with the deck. Uh, and then he's on the Diva and Mali engine, so just to get him pop out level 8s and resolve Miracle Fusion. Just looking at the rest of the list, he's on Treeborn Frog for an extra water. He's on Plague, and he's on one Grepher and an Ocean. Some lists don't play Ocean, but Ocean's a water and a hero, so that works for both there. He's on Gold Starks to find his big you can get Heavy Storm or Dark Armed or Miracle Fusion. On Mind Control because you have the 3 tuners here. And you could potentially fuse with Miracle Fusion if you take like a Earth or a Water, so might come in handy. And and then he's playing Ocean too, so he can play E-Call. So it's just a searchable water, and you have an extra copy of Stratos. So you have 3 copies of Stratos with Stratos, Rhoda, E-Call, and it's a pretty small trap lineup. 1 Wind Blast, and that's like the so just one of those a little interesting. Yeah, this is a very aggro Diva Hero list, which I think the deck naturally is. It's just like wants to like kill you as fast as possible. As far as this looking at the extra deck, I don't think there's anything too notable other than 2 Stardust. I guess if you can make second one, then all power to you. But and yeah, and he has the 2 level 5, so there's no Gaia in this list. So I would think he maybe run Gaia just because he has a card trooper um, in the deck. So maybe that'd be one thing to include. Maybe just run a Gaia instead of a Stardust Dragon. Uh, but yeah, the main looks pretty good, and the extra looks fine. And the side deck, it's a little interesting. He has Vanity's Ruler. You know, he said, "Screw Vanity's Fiend. I'm playing Vanity's Ruler." So it's a little beefier. So maybe he wanted Vanity's Fiend, he just couldn't find it. I'm not sure. And he has 2 Fossil Dyna too. So stopping all the special summons here. 2 Crossout, which I think is interesting. Just I wouldn't think this deck has too much of a problem with set monsters. Just because you can make level 8s pretty easily. And you have a good amount of stuff you can just crash into a Reiko, but maybe you just didn't want to deal with the set monster shenanigans. And then, yeah, the rest of the list looks pretty standard. So congrats to Sean for making top 8. And 7th, we got Robert here with Hero Frogs. So we have Diva Hero and now Diva Hero Frogs. And he is so he's not playing the Junk or Diva engine. So he's just kind of sticking with. It looks like he went the little bigger hero engine. He has the 2 malicious, a Voltic, a Ocean, and a Stratos. So don't really see too many lists play Voltic. And we don't see too many lists play malicious anymore. Usually you see like the evil hero engine more so than Destiny hero engine. And then so I guess this lets him play more e-calls because he just lets you find Stratos more, and finding Stratos more is never a bad thing. Although I'm not sure what happened here, but looking at the list, there's 2 e-calls but no Rhoda. Which I guess it doesn't really matter for this list, because all your Rhoda targets are e-call targets, so yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter, it's just a little interesting. He's on the enemy controllers. Enemy controllers is kind of crazy in Frogs in general, which, yeah, the card's really nice. He's on 1 Dupe Frog, so he's cutting the Frog engine a little bit. And he's on Faders, Gores, Trag. And then 3 Ryza, 3 Kais. I see some lists play 2 Ryzas, maybe if they have a few more tributes, but yeah, it's a little interesting with the malicious. That's because like the only thing you can really, I mean, you can just pop it out for a tribute summon, or you can stack it off for substitute. So kind of interesting there. Aside from that, everything else looks pretty standard. We got 1 for 1 here for those shenanigans. For the extra deck, nothing too crazy. Again, you don't have any synchro plays, so the only synchros you're gonna get are brain control and enemy controller. And the side deck, I don't know what's going on. We had 3 Vanity's Ruler here. So I guess there was no copies of Vanity's Fiend so far. Instead, we got a bunch of Vanity's Rulers. Makes a little bit more sense in this because it's a frog deck. So, yeah, maybe you just need something to crack over a established field, and Vanity's Rulers that. Got 2 ore for the Blackwing decks. Jinzo, I think Jinzo is low-key underrated. Because you just like you bring them out in like against a trap deck like Hero Beat and just kind of wrecks them. Unless they have Gemini Spark, then you know they have to Spark. But you know it gets over Rug, and so it can be like situationally good. So Jinzo on the side is pretty good. 1 Mobius, 2 Nox again. You know, I don't really think you care about set monsters, but you got the 2 Soul Exchange on the side, and it's 2 Soul Release. So yeah, congrats to Robert for making 7th place here. And we got Aaron, and Aaron said, it says he got 6th place, but in the comments of this post on Facebook, it said you made top 4, so we'll just go with saying that there's, I don't know which list didn't make top 4, but we'll say he made top 4. But he made top 4 with Flamevell. So this deck's really cool. It looks like the flip Flamevell deck where you have like the Raikos and Hamsters and Spy. So I think those cards are really good and they go really well into Blackwings. But yeah, just looking at the list, you got the 3 Magician, 3 Fire Dog, you can consider cutting Magician to 2, but I think you just want to have a bunch of Flame Bells. Like, Spy and Hamster make your Magician a lot better to open with. This is, you can set him, and then you can summon Magician next turn and do something. 3 Raikou, 3 Kai's. Again, I think this is definitely like a Hamster Raikou deck, so like I think 3 Kai's is just like insane. This is always want to see that card. 3 Spy into Descendant. So I think that's pretty nice. It lets you go in the Darken, which is pretty nice. Although, looking at the list, there's no Darken, so maybe you just forgot about Darken, doesn't have access to Darken. Maybe you just values Classifier and Stardust more. Or, well, we'll get into the extra deck in a second, but it's a little interesting. 2 Hamster. Yeah, pretty good. So just wall out the Blackwing deck if you happen to play against them. You got Chaos Orc, does decent amount of Light and Darks, and Cyber Dragon, and Gale Tech. Gale and Spy can make a Arcanine Magician, so that's pretty cool. Then we got Gorse, finish off the monsters. 3 Book of Moon to reset your stuff, and it's just a flexible card. Let's Fire Dog beat over stuff, so I think Book of Moon's pretty solid in this deck. 3 Rekindling, just pop off when you can. And the rest of the spells are pretty staple. We have Bonus and D Prisons. Dust Tornado, Oppression. Oppression in the main deck's pretty, it's interesting. So I guess maybe because your deck's a little slower, so you don't want to just get ran over by like zombies or something like that. The only thing with this deck, since you have so many set monsters, just getting Kai's like turn 1 or 2 can be pretty devastating. So I don't know, maybe I think with this deck maybe Phoenix Chain could be decent. I could be wrong, but Phoenix Chain just seems like a okay card for this deck, like because if you resolve your flip summon, like you're gonna make a synchro, so kind of interesting. As for the extra deck, I got 2 Stardust, 2 Colossal, 2 Chimera Tech. I feel like one of these could just be cut for a Dark End, which is why Spy's so good. Anyways, and then the rest of the extra decks seem like you can even cut Herbellum. So I may just have access to the Dark End. This is again a in-person tournament, so it's not online, so not everyone has access to all these cards. And then the side deck, 2 Orb. You have a decent amount of Darks, but maybe you take out. I'm not exactly sure what you take out for the Orbs, but because Spy is really good against Blackwings, and that's what you're going to be siding Orb against, so maybe just deal with it. Thunder Kings. So this looks like just like a stun side deck, which is a decent strat for this deck. Just stun out the opponent and system down. This looks like a machine overkill side. This would like you already have the Cyber Dragons, 2 Chimera Techs, and then you're putting system downs in. So, and I feel like Mind Control. This could be a main deck card because you got the Magicians, so be pretty solid there. But I can understand siding it because you do only have 3 tuners, but well, we have 4 with Gale, so I don't know. Some consideration there. So congrats to Aaron for making top 4, not 6th place, top 4, according to him. So we got 5th place Clay on fairies, just pure fairies. Oh, he's I guess Chaos Fairy. He's playing the Sky Scourge guy, which is just like another Chaos Sorcerer. So it's kind of like the Carpath build here. Yeah, I guess it's more so the Carpath build because he has like Decrees in the main deck. So I guess we can say Chaos Fairy. I'm not really sure. But he's on 2 Christia and he's on the Chaos package here. We'll call it there. 3 Orange Light, pretty crazy card. Kind of what makes fairies good, and so is Honest and Christia. So these cards kind of what make fairies insane. Pretty big recruiting package. We got 5 recruiters. Sometime you got. I think wasn't Carpass build like on lower recruiter count? I'm not sure. And then 3 Dimensional Alchemists, 1 Warrior Lady, and 3 Kaias. And then yeah, we have all the fiends here because of this guy. We have a Cyber Dragon main deck, and I think this is pretty similar to the Carpass build, if I recall. I don't have his list up, but yeah, it looks pretty similar to that one. Um, and then we have the decrees here with a couple traps, just like the good traps. And I know song because you don't want to like lose all your life pretty much. So, and I'm not sure if he looks like he has like the light synchros, which is good. The ancient sacred wyvern, the parshat. So he has those guys if he needs to go into them. And I'm not sure if there's anything that's just outrageously missing. Again, the only tuner you have is orange light, which you can recruit out. So that can probably come up. The one orb, just because you have easy access to it, so you can play the one orb inside. And Book of Moon in the side's interesting. I wonder what you bring that in against. Maybe like zombies, just so you don't like get comboed on super hard. Or probably if you need to deal with like a Vanity's Fiend, like you have a recruiter and they summon Vanity's Fiend, you could just book it and then run it over next turn. So, or in case this tournament, you have to deal with Vanity's Ruler. So, yeah, 3 Electric Virus for dragons. So this looks like a lot like the Carpath build. We got Vanity's Fiend, Thunder King. So this looking to stun out whatever matchup. So congrats to Clay for topping. And we got Ken here on Willidad. And it looks like he has some interesting text in here. So we got 1 Caius, 3 Crabons, whatever. Necrogarna does have the Gores. And we have like a small zombie package with the Goblin Zombies, Plague, Zombie Master, and Mizuki. So like no Pyramid Turtle, no Mystic Tomato, no Reaper. Just trying to combo off. And we got the 2 Malicious here. And 2 Greffers. So Greffer works really well with the Necrogarden, Malicious, and whatever zombies. And we have like a small like hero package in here with Stratos and Bubbleman. Stratos just gets you Malicious, and then Bubbleman is just, I suppose this is like another guy you can just special summon out. And this, so it makes a little sense in this deck. Made it an extra target in case you open a Malicious. You still want your Stratos to be useful. So, you can make a case for having the evil guy instead of Bubbleman. But maybe he just wants the future fusion to be alive too, because if he runs evil guy, then you only have 1 element as a hero. So if you already get through Stratos, then you can't future fusion to send Mizuki. So that might be the thought process there. That makes more sense. And we have the Greffer's Armageddon Knight just to dump everything. And of course, can't forget about Dark Arm Dragon. We got Mind Control, Brain Control, which is pretty good in this deck. Foolish Allure, 2 Power Well for the 3 Krebins. So yeah, this deck you go Greffer, ditch Krebins or Malicious, and then you can make a little weight with this. Or you dump 2 Krebins and yeah, you just kind of go off. You can control your grade really well with this deck. And the spells, the rest of the spells look pretty standard. We have 1D Prison in the side, or in the trap lineup, and then Return, Call the Haunted, 2 Wind Blast. That's it. You can just discard stuff. So yeah, the main deck looks pretty on par for a Willidad deck. Looking at the extra, not sure if anything's missing. We have Absolute Zero for Future Fusion and Gaia for Future Fusion. Gaia lets you send Mizuki, and Absolute Zero lets you send, I guess, Bowman and Malicious. So that's that. And for the side, we have 2 Balance in Prison for, I guess, Blackwings or heroes. And we have Dynas in here as well. The Lightning Vortex is to clear like a Christia, for example. And Skill Drain. It's interesting seeing Skill Drain. Maybe you can just spam like a Stardust out and then Skill Drain up. That seems pretty solid. So kind of like similar to like Silch's Diva Hero Zombie deck. You can do the same thing here. And Dust Tornadoes. So congrats to Ken for topping. And we got third place here, William, on the Machina Mill deck. I'm just gonna call it Machina. Machina deck. That's been popular recently. We had the 3 Gear Frame, 3 Fortress, 3 Force, so all the Machinas, aside from the tiny guy. We have 3 Raikou, 3 Hamster. He's on 2 Caius and 2 DD Warrior Lady, and a Lila. So, you're on 3 Hamster, 3 Raikou. I don't know. I feel 3 Caius would just be crazy with 3 Hamster. So, you cut a Warrior Lady? I'm not sure, but 3 Caius seems crazy. I love 3 Caius. In theory. And we have Lila here as well for extra milling. Pop a back row. Pop a back row so you can summon Fortress out. Pretty nice. You got Card Trooper, Scrap Recycler, and I don't remember if the builds play with Scrap Recycler, but I guess you can send a Fortress and then send back Gear Frames for draw 1. So that's pretty cool. We have a Plague Spreader here as well. 3 Pot, 2 Book of Moon, and for the traps, 2 Bottomless, a Dust Tornado, a Starlight Road. Starlight Road is interesting because you don't have like a massive trap lineup, but it just like lets you like spam out fortresses for game, so it's neat. And a rather small extra deck. I guess he doesn't really have a way to go into it. Well, he has Plague Spreader, so he has, I guess, plenty of ways. I guess the main way is like make a level 8 or a level 6. Army Arm for 4. And he has 5. So, I mean, he has a good amount of options. So, anyways, small extra deck here from William. And the side deck, he's on 3 Crow. I think Crow's been falling off the past couple months. I haven't been side decking it too much in my decks, and it's just kind of like lackluster in most matchups. And it's like rarely just like insane against anyone. Like you can't really bring against frogs because they can just have 2 Treeborn frogs. It doesn't really like impact too many decks as much as you would like. He's side decking the 3 Warrior Lady, so that's I guess maybe for like Black Wings or just like recruiter decks that could be decent. Like you just banish the guy. And we have a Grand Mole, which is pretty neat. 2 Lightning Vortex. That's to deal with like Vanity Fiends because you're trying to summon Fortress. And 2 Prisons, 2 Dots. So congrats to William for topping with Machina. And we have second place here, Eric, on Black Wings. It looks mostly pure, but then he has like, it's not like the hardcore like hybrid build with like 3 Gruffer, 3 Vayu, but it's kind of like, it's like an in-between, almost. He has 2 Vayu and 1 Gruffer, and the rest of the Blackwing line is pretty self-explanatory. He is on 3 Bora, so the Bora haters out there can, sit down. We have, for the spell lineup, looks pretty staple or standard, 2 Book of Moon. Book of Moon's just really good in this deck, I feel. Lets you protect your guys, stop your opponent from making their plays. So, yeah, Book of Moon's really nice. Lets sure run over stuff. And for the traps, he has 1 Phoenix Chain, 1 Compulse. So this is interesting. Don't really think Phoenix Chain is too crazy in this deck. And Compulse, I've been playing in my list recently. It's like okay in theory, but then like in actual play, it's not too great. So Compulse is okay. I think it might be like one of those like niche tech cards here and there. 2 Bottomless, 3 Icarus, Torrential. Interesting seeing Blackwings play Torrential, but maybe just want to mind game them. Like, Blackwings don't play Torrential, so your opponent's just gonna make a big board. and then you torrential them. The thing with that is that like you already have Icarus to punish like big boards, so torrential is kind of like the same thing. So it's rather repetitive. And he has Mirror Force. Again, Mirror Force kind of same thing with Deep Prison. It's like um, pretty repetitive. Like if your opponent just makes a Stardust Dragon into a Mirror Force, you're kind of upset by that. Which, and the only decks that like make like a humongous board are like zombies, which they make Stardust anyways. And one oppression, I think one oppression's okay. I guess, I ran it Black Wings with no oppression and I won a tournament a couple months back. Uh, I guess Blackwing decks have been running less and less oppression. I still think it's a really good card, and it might be really needed right now because it seems like a lot of special summon decks are really popular right now. So yeah, oppression might be coming back more into the list. It's kind of like it was more so of a thing back a couple months ago because Blackwings were like literally everywhere, so it wasn't too great in that matchup. But beside the point, we got one oppression and two deep prison. As far as the extra, he's gonna be spamming Vayu a little bit more, so he has the two Armor Master and then Silverwind. And yeah, everything else looks about standard. On the side, we got two Crow, two Dyna, two Cyber Dragon, Mind Control. I think Mind Control's decent for like the set decks, set Raikou, but he has Crossout, so he has a lot of hate for set decks. And then he has another Oppression, two Rugs, and the Skill Drain and Lightmare. So congrats to Eric for making second. And in first place, we have Steven on, Disaster Dragon, we'll call it. So Chico, I interviewed him, my teammate, on Ring of Destruction. I did a video interviewing him on the deck he won, or he got second place in one of the Deck Devastator tournaments recently. And this looks pretty similar to that list, so we'll just go over it. So 3 Red Med Exploder, 3 Wyvern. You can make a case of running 2 Wyvern. I don't remember if Chico's playing 2 or 3, but it's just a nice beater. And then you got the 3 Drago. It's probably like one of the better cards in the deck. 2 Totem. You can consider bumping up Totem if you have more tributes, but honestly, there's not that many good tributes for Totem. And then you already have 3 Mass Dragon too, so I guess you'd rather go Mass Dragon into Totem rather than just setting Totem every time. And 3D Warrior Lady, so this has been really popular in this deck recently just because you can kind of banish some of the problem cards aside from Duke Frog. Like you can crash into a Spirit Reaper, otherwise you're just kind of sitting there looking at it kind of dumb. And then we have White Knight. White Knight's really nice in this current format just because there's a lot of deep prisons running around, so kind of deals with those. Prime Materials is always really good in this deck just because you can do off Mirror Force and Torrential. So like if you go first, Future Fusion, dump Wyverns and Red Mid and a Prime Material. You do the end phase Wyvern thing, and then like normally Torrential or Mirror Force are really good against like a Red Mid setup like that, but then you bring out Prime Material and then you probably just lose. So, or the opponent loses to that. So Prime Material is really good in this deck, and then 3 Mass Dragon just recruit into your Exploder or Totem. And we have 2 Gold Sark, just to find Future Fusion, Heavy Storm, and whatnot. And 1 Smash. I think Shiko ran 1 Smash in his build, so seeing 1 Smash again. Got 2 Book of Moons, and then, 2 Bombs, 3 Deep Prison. So lots of Deep Prison. Protect your guys. And then 2 Road, and they call the Haunted. So main deck looks pretty solid, and then extra deck you don't really have to. You don't have any synchro capability, so you don't have to worry about too much aside from brain control. And then for the side we have 1 Dust, 1 Twister, Cyber Dragons. Interesting seeing Cyber Dragons here, because like I guess you can just take the Totem Dragons out and you just run free with that. Light and Darkness Dragon. I think this card might be. I mean, it's typically not that great, but if you bring it in against certain matchups, it can be pretty nice. and then 2 Nox. I've seen a lot of Nox in this top 8. So I wonder how like the hamster decks fared with their one-sided Nox at this tournament. Nox and Vanity Ruler. That's the hot topic of this tournament. 2 Prohibition. Decent card. And then 1 Burial, just put back your Wyverns and whatnot. Soul Taker, that was a Chico tech. And he looks like Steven's running it here. And we have Compulsory, Vortex, just, Heal Christia and whatnot, and then Rugs for like the Frog matchup, because that could be pretty brutal. Because you can't do much to Monarchs. And I think they have a couple pictures, so yeah, this is the top 8 here of players. That's pretty cool. And they all got like OTS packs for topping as well. And this looks like second place here. And first place with its PlayStation 5. So yeah, again, it was only 24 players, so you have like a really good chance of winning this PlayStation 5. So hopefully then get more people to come out to these tournaments and compete for really good prizes like this. Again, this was a Olympus Cards and Games in Atlanta. So yeah, check them out. It's really cool that they ran this tournament, and hopefully I can make it out for the next one. But thanks for watching the video, everyone. I'll catch you guys later.